May the peace of the Lord be with you. Let us begin our prayer. I kneel before you, Lord, in this silent room that still carries the faint scent of the woman I love. I whisper your name like a thirsty soul crying for rain in the desert. But my words seem to vanish into the air, unanswered. That day came without warning. She was still smiling that morning, still making me my usual cup of warm coffee. But by nightfall, I was left with a cold medical report, and a hollow space that no voice, no hand, no comfort could ever fill. I didn't cry in front of others. I tried to be the strong husband, but the truth is, my heart shattered into more pieces than I can name. Lord, if anyone has ever believed themselves strong enough to face loss, then let me confess, I am not that person. I fear the dark. I fear coming home. I even fear the happy memories now, for they cut deeper than grief. Each night, I open her closet. I see the dress she wore the first time we went on a date. I hold it close to my chest, as if it could bring her back to me. But it's only fabric, and she is nowhere to be found. Where are you, God? I dare not ask, why? Because I know in your divine plan, nothing is random. But please, don't be angry with me if the tears still fall. For my heart is human, frail and breakable, and it is breaking more with every breath. Please, Lord, stay near, even if I don't have the words to pray, even if my soul feels like a storm-ravaged field, ruined, chaotic, and dry. Please, don't walk away. Just sit beside me in the silence until I learn how to speak to you again. I always thought, if she ever had to leave me, it would be when we were old, very old, rocking together on the porch, laughing at the days gone by. I never imagined I'd lose her so young, so suddenly. That morning, she said, "Don't forget your jacket, love. It's colder today." I turned and joked, "I have the warmest coat in the world, your hug." She smiled. That smile still appears behind my eyelids whenever I close them. It's a memory so beautiful. It hurts. Now the house is silent, as if no one ever lived here. No more spoons clinking against cups in the morning. No more gentle humming from the kitchen. No more soft reminders to wear a scarf, take my medicine, go to bed early, and yet somehow, I still hear it all, as if it's happening. Sometimes, I think I'm losing my mind. I hear her voice from the bedroom. I see her silhouette at the doorway. I catch the trace of her perfume in the breeze. Lord, I know it's all in my head, but in my sorrow, I need to believe she's still around, still watching me, still hearing me whisper, "Please don't leave me alone in this life." That first night after she was gone, I didn't sleep. I sat there, staring at the ceiling, clutching the rosary she used to pray with. I was never the prayerful kind, but that night, I prayed, not because I had great faith, but because I was too weak to stand on my own. I prayed that she was at peace. I prayed that she no longer hurt. I prayed that she didn't hate me for the tears I caused, for the things I never said in time. Did you hear me, God? Were you waiting for me to open my heart in the middle of this storm? Because if you were, I only had 3 words to offer. Save me, Lord. One day I sat in the back pew of the church she used to visit. I placed my hand on the worn cushion where she used to kneel. I didn't pray. I didn't speak. I just sat, because I knew this was where she once heard your voice. And maybe, just maybe, if I sit there long enough, I might hear something too, even if it's just a breath. Lord, I'm not asking you to erase the pain. I only ask you to teach me how to live with it. and not let it swallow me whole? Do you sometimes stay silent because you're listening even more closely? If so, then please, hear even the sighs I cannot name, the ones buried in my chest, the ones I don't know how to put into words. You are the creator of all, the resting place of every soul. Please hold her close to you, and please hold me up, so I don't collapse without her. There's a bench in the park where we used to sit, sharing popcorn, talking about the stars, dreaming our silly little dreams. I go there now, alone, and I remember how she'd lean her head against my shoulder, eyes closed, so calm, it felt like a prayer. Now I sit on that bench, but there's no one to lean on, no one to lean back, only you, Lord. If I dare to believe you are near. I've lived days without her, and I fear I'll live the rest of my life that way. But if you truly are the God of love, then please, do something, not a miracle, just a sign, any sign, that I'm not walking this path alone. One night, I dreamed of her. She didn't say a word. She only smiled. The light behind her was soft, like sunshine after the rain. Then she turned, walked away, and waved, like a breeze. When I woke up, I cried, but in those tears, there was a trace of peace. If that dream was her way of saying she's okay, then Lord, please help me be okay too. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but someday, when my heart no longer clenches every time I remember her. Lord, I don't need to understand everything. I only beg you, please, don't leave me. Give me a faith strong enough to stand. Give me a love wide enough to live again. And give me just a small flame of hope, that one day I will see her again, in the Father's house, where there are no more tears. And so I end this first prayer, with nothing but a quiet plea from a broken heart. Stay with me, Lord, until I learn how to walk again, with half a soul still waiting in heaven. Dear Lord, the funeral is over. The condolences have been spoken. The flowers have started to wither in the sunlight. The chairs are stacked and put away, and the house has returned to its terrifying silence. I remember each face that came, each teary-eyed glance, each awkward hug, and every kind attempt at comfort, as if they were trying to place a bandage over a wound that would never close. You'll get through this. She's in a better place now. Be strong. She wouldn't want you to be sad. I smiled. I nodded. I said thank you. But when the door closed behind the last guest, when the footsteps faded beyond the gate, when all voices disappeared into distance, that's when I collapsed into the chair and cried, Lord, the house now feels like an empty shell. No more of her gentle reminders to take my medicine. No more scent of freshly washed clothes. No more soft clinking from the kitchen at dawn. Just unwashed glasses from the day she died. Just the nightgown she left draped over a chair. Untouched, just the sunlight spilling through the window, onto a space too wide, too cold. And then I cried, not like the movies, not loud, not wild, but a quiet, slow kind of crying, tears that drip into the soul, like the ticking of a clock, each second slicing deeper. I didn't cry when I signed the death certificate, didn't cry when I chose her casket, didn't cry when I accepted the wreaths from family, because I thought I had to be strong. But that first night alone, I crawled into bed, clutching the pillow she used to sleep on. And I broke. No one saw, no one needed to, only you, Lord, if you were truly listening. I whispered through tears, Lord, why did you leave me all alone like this? It wasn't the moment I lost her that hurt the most. It was the moment everyone else left, and I realized I still had to live. Alone, I walked into our bedroom, opened her closet. All her favorite dresses were still there. I couldn't bring myself to touch them, because if I picked one up, the memories might shatter like glass on the floor. I went to the bathroom. The toothbrush cub now holds only one. Her towel still carries the scent of her shampoo. I turned on the shower. The water was cold, but my heart was colder. One night, I unlocked my phone. I scrolled through our messages. Photos of us smiling, clips of us singing karaoke. I laughed, then broke into tears. Because memories don't fade, they sharpen in absence. They echo louder in the quiet. I whispered, "My love, if you can still hear me, please give me a sign, any sign, so I know I'm not entirely alone." Lord, they taught me how to say the Our Father. They taught me how to pray the Rosary. But in that moment, I couldn't recall a single line. I just looked up at the ceiling and said, "If you're real, please don't stay silent." And still, you were silent, silent like a blank page. But I kept writing on that page anyway. I am still in pain, but I'm still waiting. I remember going back to church for the first time after the funeral. The pews were full, voices lifted in prayer, but me, I just sat in the back, head bowed, silent. Then the priest read, "Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted." And I shivered, not from cold, but because I felt you were speaking to me. No, peace didn't fall upon me like a miracle, but something small took root inside. A seed, a whisper, a maybe. Maybe I'm not completely alone. From that day on, I began speaking to you each night. Not long prayers, just breath-sized sentences between tears. I saw her in a dream today. I heard her favorite song in the grocery store. I almost gave up again, but I remembered how she used to say, "God is still good, no matter what." And slowly, I started to understand, pain doesn't have to vanish in order to heal. It just needs to be seen, held, and offered up to you. There was a night I walked under the stars. No destination, just walking, just breathing. A breeze brushed against my cheek. The trees swayed gently. I stopped in the quiet park, looked up into the sky, and whispered, "Lord, give me just enough faith to go on, even if half of me is already gone." Day by day, I learned to eat alone, sleep alone, care for myself, wash my own dishes, change the bed sheets, remind myself to take my meds, just like she used to. No one holds me when I wake from a nightmare. No one says, "Good night," before the lights go off. But I've started saying it to you. Every night, I say, "Good night, Lord, stay with me tonight," the way she used to stay. I know she's no longer here, but she still lives in every choice I make, in every act of kindness, in every breath I take. And if she is with you, then drawing closer to you is how I stay close to her. So, Lord, please hold me close in your arms until the day I can hold her again, where there are no more tears, no more goodbyes, only eternal peace. Amen. Dear Lord, there's something I've never dared to say aloud. That after the day she left me, I started doubting everything, not just life, but you. I didn't tell anyone, because people say, to believe in God is to be strong. To believe is to stand firm, unwavering. To believe is to know you are unconditionally loved by a perfect God. But when the one I loved most was taken from me, my faith began to feel like a house after a storm. Cracks in the walls, shingles torn from the roof, windows shattered, and I stood there, in the wreckage, asking, "Are you really there, Lord?" In those days, I didn't read scripture, didn't touch my rosary, didn't go to church. I just survived, barely, and I told myself, if God truly exists, maybe He understands my silence. Some mornings, I would sit for hours in front of her photo. No food, no water, just silence, staring at her eyes, her smile, and quietly wondering, can you still hear me? Can you still see me? Are you really somewhere peaceful and safe? Or is that just something people say to feel less afraid? That was the bottom, the lowest my faith had ever fallen. But strangely, that was where a thin thread of light began to find its way in. Not like a lightning bolt, not like a miracle in a movie, but like the softest whisper, like a single thread, slowly stitching something back together. I began opening the Bible again, slowly, not to learn theology, but just to breathe, to stay alive. One day, I read this verse, "Blessed are those who have not seen, and yet believe," John chapter 20 verse 29. And I stopped, because it felt like you were speaking directly to me. Not with condemnation, not with pressure, just a gentle invitation. You don't need to see her to believe she lives with me. You don't need to see me to know I'm holding both of you in my hands. So I began to pray again, not in eloquent words, just sitting quietly by a single candle, and breathing. Each breath was a whispered prayer. I don't see, but I want to believe. At first, it felt fake, like a habit, not hope, but then something strange happened. Even without seeing anything, my heart began to shift. Just a little. I wasn't afraid of the night anymore. I didn't panic at the thought of her absence. I could listen to our favorite songs again without turning them off. I stopped avoiding the places that reminded me of her, because I realized memories aren't chains, they're grace. Lord, I started doing something small. I replanted the garden she used to love. At first, it was just because I missed her. But then, I noticed something. With each seed I buried, each weed I pulled, I felt more alive. When the flowers began to bloom, I felt like she was smiling from afar, like she was saying, "Good job, you still know how to love what's beautiful." Each morning, I watered the garden and whispered to you, "I can't see the sky behind these clouds, but I believe it's still there." Then I returned to Mass. At first, it was just because friends invited me. Later, it became a place where my heart could breathe again. One day, as the priest lifted the consecrated host, I felt a stillness settle over me. Not because I understood the mystery, but because in that moment, I felt her presence, not physically, but spiritually, deeply, unmistakably, as if she was kneeling beside me, worshiping with me from heaven. Lord, I can't say I've fully healed. The pain didn't vanish. It remains, like a quiet companion. But now, I no longer run from it. Instead of asking, "Why did you take her away?" I ask, "How can I live in a way that honors the love she gave me? And how can I grow closer to you each day, so that one day, I might meet her again?" I began to listen more, to others who had lost someone too, and I discovered, I'm not alone. And faith, even if small, grows stronger when it's shared. One day, I helped a stranger light incense at the cemetery. He had just lost his mother. He turned to me, trembling, and asked, "Do you think we'll see our loved ones again someday?" I didn't give him a theological answer. I placed my hand gently on his shoulder and said, "I can't promise anything with certainty, but I believe it with everything left in my heart. Lord, I've come to understand there is no faith that hasn't wrestled with doubt, no life untouched by death, no love that doesn't know the sting of goodbye. But it's in the very breaking that you rose again. You stepped out from the tomb. You appeared to trembling disciples and said, "Peace be with you." Today, I hear you saying that to me. Peace be with you, you who are learning to love through loss. Lord, I've walked from darkness into a narrow path of light. I haven't gone far, but I haven't turned back. Each step I take bears her name, and each prayer I whisper carries me closer to you. I no longer ask to be spared from the pain. I ask that you don't let it go to waste. Use this sorrow to shape me. Use it to soften me. Use it to make me more compassionate. And use it to let my life become a quiet testimony that says, even when I can't see, I still believe. Even when she's gone, I still love. Even across the distance, I still hope for the day we meet again. Dear Lord, as I write these words, a gentle rain is falling outside. The sound of raindrops tapping on the rooftop feels like a sacred hymn of sorrow. I am still sitting in the room where she used to read. The small wooden chair remains untouched. Her soft shawl still hangs on the back of it. And I am still learning how to live with half the world gone. The pain isn't as sharp as it was in the beginning. It no longer tears at me the moment I wake up. But it's still here, quieter now, deeper, more familiar, like an old friend who doesn't speak, but never leaves. Part of me has accepted that she's no longer here in flesh. But another part of me has never stopped waiting for her to walk back through the door. Lord, there are things I've never told anyone, but today I want to lay them bare before you. I remember one night, exhausted, lying on the floor in the dark. I whispered, "If you're real, please let me feel something, anything." And somehow, in that emptiest moment, I felt my heartbeat slow. The fear subsided, the panic dissolved. It was as if an invisible hand rested on my chest, and a voice without words spoke gently in my soul. I never left you. I've lost so much, but I haven't lost everything, because the love she and I shared didn't end at the funeral. It wasn't buried in the grave. It didn't disappear with time. That love became part of me, part of my soul. Sometimes I look up at the night sky and see the brightest star, and I smile, because maybe, just maybe, that's her, watching me, winking at me from heaven. I've started writing letters to her, not expecting answers, just needing to stay connected, just needing somewhere to pour this endless ache. One time I wrote, "Today, I saw a woman with hair like yours." I froze, and then I cried, not because I confused her for you, but because I missed you so deeply. Another letter said, "Guess what? I cooked for myself today. Pumpkin soup, your favorite. But I accidentally added too much salt. And as I tasted it, I laughed through tears, because I could almost hear you teasing me. Too salty again, huh, sweetheart?" These letters go nowhere. They sit quietly in a drawer, a sacred chapel inside my heart. But I believe you read them, Lord, and if you wish, maybe, you hand them to her yourself. Lord, I used to pray for you to take this pain away, but not anymore, because through this pain, I've learned what unconditional love really is. Through this weakness, I've learned that your strength is made perfect in it. Through this longing, I've learned that prayer isn't about getting answers, but about finding presence. Now, every evening, I light a candle by the window, right where she used to stand and watch the rain. That tiny flame doesn't chase away the night, but it reminds me, even the smallest light can warm a soul in the coldest darkness. I imagine her sitting beside you, watching me fumble through the rosary, smiling playfully. You're rushing, love, and I imagine you smiling too, because you know, the truest prayer doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be real. I've started rewriting the story of my life. Now, every page includes her and you. She taught me what it means to be patient. She helped me believe that loving someone deeply is an act of worship. In you, Lord, you gave her to me, even if only for a short while. I don't measure time in years anymore. I measure it by the days I make it through without losing hope. By the hugs I give to friends, because I've learned that love is the only legacy that outlives death. Lord, if death is a doorway, then love must be the key. And I believe that one day, when the gates of heaven open wide, she will be there, standing in the light, free from pain, free from tears, wearing the smile she wore on our wedding day, forever. And I will run to her, no longer the husband who collapsed, but the man who chose to keep living, who chose to keep loving, who held on to faith, who believed in his heart that true love never dies. Thank you, Lord, for this journey through sorrow. For if I had never walked through this valley, I would not know how deeply I've been carried. Thank you, for every morning my heart still beats, even though I once wished it would stop. Thank you, for the friends who held me in silence, like you do. Thank you, for her, the most beautiful mark my life ever bore. Now when I pray, I no longer ask to be fully healed. I only ask to become someone who can still love while in pain, still live after loss, still believe even through tears. Lord, let the rest of my life be a hymn, one with highs and lows, loud choruses and silent pauses. Use every chapter, with her, without her, and with you, to compose a symphony of faith, of hope, and of love. And let me close this final prayer with one humble plea. Let the love between her and me forever be a song of praise to you. Amen. May the love of God be your refuge, today and always.